Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome back to another video here on the channel. This week's video is pretty well an update to our last video talking about the Traxxas Jato that I picked up used. The Traxxas Jato that I got is a complete mess. Almost all the parts need to be replaced, and that's what I'm in the process of doing. I know a lot of you guys ended up saying, you know, the best thing for me to do is drop this off the side of a cliff and all problems will be solved and stuff like this. But I'm going to rebuild this Jato. I think it deserves to have another life. So let's see a couple things. What I've done so far, if we can get it started, and some of the parts that I still have to go and put on the Jato in order to complete the build. I'm waiting for several parts as well to come in, and this is probably going to take at least another week for me to receive these parts. When you're in Canada, it seems like they put the packages, all the shipments on turtles and send them Turtle Express. Otherwise, let's take a look at what has been done so far on the Jato. And here it is. This is the top bracket that I've replaced. I've replaced the bottom one as well. You can see it right here. Those both have been replaced, as well as this tower. That's also been replaced because all the holes were just about shot on both sides of this, as well as even the hole there to get the upper turnbuckle mounted. That was shot as well. So it's good to have all those components replaced. Another thing that absolutely needed to be replaced was all the steering components. The bushings for one were all shot, and there was one part that didn't look so good that's in the bottom part of the servo saver arm as well. So now that those are all replaced, the front end looks pretty good. I need to get new suspension. That's on its way to get mounted into the new top section. I did leave this alone. I did not purchase new RPM lower control arms. So I'm going to hope to get away with having these that came with the Jato. I do have a new pipe that's on the way. I do have also the new plate that goes in here. It houses the servos, it houses the fuel tank, and all other components in here as well. And I have a couple other parts sitting in front of me. This is going to be for the radio covers, brand new spur gear. This is the 54 tooth that actually comes with the Jato, as opposed to the 56 metal gear that I do have. I got a new clutch bell that's at the 24 tooth mark, so that should be really close to factory gearing there. I think it is exact factory gearing. I have a new clutch as well because the stock one that came with the Jato is just awful. It's pretty much worn out and the spring has been expanded, so it probably doesn't even work correctly. And then I did end up purchasing some differential housings just in case I have an issue with the plastic mounts there, the ones that go into the body. So got brand new of those. So looking forward to get the new pipe as well as that center plastic component and the springs. Those are the big components that I need to get this going. I do also have like a little hardware package to help me with some of the fasteners that I've been dealing with. What's really interesting is a lot of the fasteners that were on here, I thought it was actually imperial, but it was metric. All the fasteners looked like they were all metric. The problem that I had was the length of the fastener was actually too long for certain areas of this vehicle. So now you can see I got the proper length fasteners in there. If I can get a good shot. So you can see from this angle barely, these are fasteners on the top, these little cap screws that you see there, that's a proper length, so they fit flush with the components as they should, as opposed to before. So that has been changed as well. Now let's see if we can actually get this thing fired up. First thing to do is to open up the fuel bottle here, open up the fuel tank, and begin to fill up the tank with this nitro fuel. Now what I want to do is only have enough fuel in there to start the engine up and maybe let it run for about a minute. Once that's done, I want to put my finger on the exhaust nozzle and then turn the engine over. This creates pressure inside of the fuel tank and forces fuel up through the fuel line to the carburetor on the engine. Now that that's done, I place the igniter onto the engine and crank it over. This first attempt didn't go so well. We didn't hear any type of combustion there on the engine. We're going to go ahead and try it again. I'm again here placing my finger over the exhaust nozzle because I don't think there's enough fuel in that carburetor. So we try it again, and now I'm trying to open up the carburetor just to give it a little bit more throttle to see if the extra air helps it out as well. it looks like when I had my thumb over the carburetor to prevent air from getting in, this is going to pull more fuel in. It decided to fire up. Here's where I noticed something a little strange here, and I want to bring the camera in. I bring the camera in because when I saw this, it looked like the crank there was moving in an odd way. So when I go and touch it, it does seem indeed it has a little bit of play here on the crank. And that's definitely not supposed to be like that. It should be very tight on the crankshaft. It should never have play within it. I'm going to get another angle here to see how it looks from the top. And even there you can see that there is some slight motion. So this is something that we're going to go and take this engine apart. We're going to find out what is actually causing this play within this engine in the next update that we have for the Jato. So I do want to fire it up and hear it run. So it does fire up, it does run, it does respond very well to acceleration there when I pull the throttle. However, I am deeply concerned about what I feel with that crankshaft. And this is something that we're going to have to look into here very shortly. Stay tuned for that in the next video. As usual, like the video. If you do, don't forget to hit that sub button so that I can see you guys in that next one. Thanks a lot for watching. See you in the next one.